Hi, I'm Dee.
I'm Jose.
And we're your token theater friends, people who love theater so much that we're probably seeing something on Thanksgiving.
Yes, we are.
Actually, I'm seeing something the day before Thanksgiving. I'm seeing The Inheritance. What about you?
I'm going to The Inheritance also.
Oh, shoot! Yes, it's going to be a
very long.
It's going to be a long day. We're going to be spending together.
What I've been saying is that I'm carb loading for Thanksgiving at The Inheritance. Because we have a dinner break.
Yes, we do. See, we love theater so much, we'll go to an 8-hour show.
For a marathon. Anyway.
Yes, that's our marathon. We don't run. Who runs?
I don't know. Straight people.
Yeah.
Well, you're straight. Anyway. We are not talking about The Inheritance
don't.
right now. On this episode, we are talking to the fabulous Jasmine Cephas Jones, who you might know from a little show called Hamilton.
You probably never heard of it.
Yeah. What is it?
Something about money. I don't know.
I have no idea. And also, she's been incredible in movies like Mistress America and Blindspotting. But today we're talking to her about her performance in Cyrano, which is a new take on the famous play with music by The National. So let's go check out the interview. Jasmine, thank you so much for joining us. You're currently starring in Cyrano, and can you tell us a little bit about what this musical version is?
The musical version. Okay. So this adaptation was adapted by Erica Schmidt, who also directs the play and is also Peter Dinklage's wife. And Peter Dinklage plays Cyrano. It's a shorter version. I think the original is it's very, very long. It's a very long version. And the music is by The National, and the whole entire play is underscored. So it's not, I think people get confused because they're like, it's a musical, but it's not a musical because we don't have these big musical numbers that keep pushing the narrative. It's not about that. It's actually something that's very intimate, and kind of the songs come out of just what the characters are feeling at that moment in time. So it's a very, very, very musical piece, and almost a lot of people that my friends that have seen the show, they're like, I feel like I'm almost watching a film because it's so cinematic and it's so beautiful, and the colors are beautiful, the costumes. I mean, we have all the weather. We've got snow in there. We've got fall. We even have glitter coming from the sky, from the ceiling or whatever. So it's a very kind of cinematic looking piece that constantly has music throughout the whole entire show. Cyrano, who is played by Peter, he doesn't wear a nose. He doesn't wear a long nose because it's not initially what the play is about. It's about kind of what's underneath that, and about your worth, and about not saying what you want to say because you don't feel like you're worth enough. So it's kind of stripped away. It's a very stripped, different, pushing the boundaries, kind of organic, really cool way of telling the story that goes right to the point.
This is the first thing you've done on stage since Hamilton, but since then you've done, Blindspotting, and also you've been on Girls. And why did you choose this project in particular to come back to?
Well, I think I got a call from Erica. She called me and she was just like, I want you to play this role. I've seen you 6 times in Hamilton.
6 times.
Yeah, she saw a lot, and I think it was just so special that she kind of reached out to me in that way, and also was like, I need you to come in and just chemistry read with Pete, and just kind of the way it fell into my lap. I didn't think I was going to do theater this year at all, and I was like, if I'm going to go back, it needs to be something that's super original and cool. And when you come from a very small show at Hamilton that no one knows about. You want to keep doing stuff that's cool and original, and that just keeps pushing the boundaries of stuff and storytelling. And this is definitely a show that does that. And I hadn't been a lead in a show yet, and for me to act right opposite Pete and do something that's original like this, I was like, this is actually kind of perfect for me.
talk of the blank space behind the sun where you told me you meet me when everyone's gone. Tell me that nothing makes sense but the sound of my voice in your head when you lie on the ground. Make love make sense in the loveliest way.
I realized that you were everything that I wanted to be as a little boy. Because like her gowns, and then oh my god, that
She's
voice.
fierce. She's fierce. Roxanne's fierce. I really I've completely fallen in love with her and just how she handles things and kind of just how a firecracker she is and I really wanted to play her super, super grounded but also she says what she feels and she gets angry, she gets sad, she gets mad, she's happy, she's completely 100% feeling everything that she's feeling and doesn't apologize for any of it. And I wanted to play this role like a woman of today, even though it's set back and
there's no time.
Yeah, it's kind of it's not about the time, but originally she's a character written in the 1600s that doesn't, back then they didn't really say what they wanted to say, and so I wanted to give her the opportunity to do that. So it's immediately she's set up of hi, my name's Roxanne, this is me, I'm fierce in this red dress, and this is what I want. I just love that. I love that.
What was your process of finding the motivation for her character? Because the way Roxanne's originally written, she's fooled by these men, and it's played for laughs a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And so how do you make sure that comes across as earnest rather than foolish?
Well, I knew, and what I love, I think it also the way that Erica adapted the version, in these scenes and the way that she writes them, it's really more about her fighting for what she wants, and she's gonna fight until she's gonna lie. She's gonna, at first she's kind of this innocent girl that's falls in love with this theater, and then she falls in love with this man, and then you're oh my god, she's lying to De Guiche, and you're wait, Roxanne, this is dangerous, but you're kind of you're kind of just with her because you're you believe it, you believe that she will do anything to protect Cyrano from not going to war and protect Christian from not going to war, the man that she loves. So I think it's kind of written in a strong way of yes, girl, you better go ahead and lie to get what you want,
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because you like her, and she's charismatic too. So you're just kind of you're kind of in the journey with her, and you want her to win. You want her to get what she wants, even though she doesn't.
Your father's such an incredible actor, and most of the time when we interview, you come from a family of actors, obviously, and many times when we interview performers of color who have no acting, in their family and stuff like that, they're I don't know how I ended up acting. And I wonder if for you, if your dad was ever please, Jasmine, don't become a performer.
No, it was the opposite.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Meaning the opposite of it was if I wanted to do something ever creatively, my parents were yeah, do it, go. It was always I grew up in the theater. I was doing my math homework in the lighting booth, black box downtown, gritty theater. I saw my dad play Lucius and Jesus Have the A Train, probably at an age that I shouldn't have. So there was just a part of the world that I completely understood at a very, very young age, and really also as my dad, as a man of color, going through the hoops that he had to go through to earn the respect, also as a Shakespearean actor as well, and so I think all of that kind of falls into that's not a word. Do you know what I mean? Combined snowballs into the performer that I am today, and I think my dad has always told me like at the end of the day it's about the work and like the respect for the work that you do. It's not about the glitz or the red card. Like I couldn't care less about that. I just want to do really good work because you see famous people all the time and it's just like down it's like you're falling for like the wrong thing and like why you're an artist in the first place, and you just have to keep reminding yourself like why do you do this. And I feel like for me there is a purpose, which is like inspiring other girls that like look like me, and like also to play characters that's not just the wife, that's not just the girlfriend, but like has a purpose, that's not just the girl on the arm just for like the accessory.
What does it feel like to slow dance in the sunlight with someone you love? Somebody who sees you and won't ever leave you alone, whatever comes.
I'm really glad that you brought up the word cinematic earlier, because I think one of the greatest scenes in any movie that I've seen this decade that's almost over, wow, was the moment in Blindspotting when your kid has the gun.
Yeah.
And your performance in that scene specifically, I feel like is seared in my mind forever, because it's so powerful, and the pain that you convey is just, like I get chills for that scene.
Oh, thank you.
And I wonder if you could talk a little bit about, doing that scene specifically, and obviously that film, which is so incredible, because you were in many ways conveying the pain and the anger and the frustration that many of us have when it comes to gun control and what's going on in America with violence.
I think it was a combination of a bunch of things. I remember doing that scene and sitting at the table and like preparing for that scene for like a half an hour, and nobody really talked to me. Like people were just like moving cameras and doing all that stuff, and then I didn't speak to Rafa until like the start of the scene, until we started filming it, and he came in, and like I almost scared the shit out of him because I think he had no idea that I was gonna go like all the way there, and he was just like, whoa, and it just kind of like snowballed from there. But it was also like I was kind of just channeling like the fear that I think like we all have when someone gets shot, or we hear, we see like crazy videos like on the internet of like police brutality and things like that, or young kids with guns, or like somebody else getting shot in like Walmart or something like that. It's just like it's almost, we all kind of have like this trauma that it's not really like, we don't really talk about that much, but it's actually just seeing it on screen or seeing it on your phone, it affects you in some way. And I think just channeling that of like really like what I've seen on the internet for the past ever since I started watching the TV, or really now like the internet on your phone, like on Twitter or whatever, when you start to really think about it, it's a really like painful subject. So I think I was like channeling like the reality of like what that is, and then also seeing him with the gun on the floor, acting out like right in front of you, just kind of clicked something in there as well. So I think it really is like channeling kind of what is going on today and how we all handle that. And I think we all kind of have like that little bit of that trauma that we all don't really speak about, because it affects us, because the video's right there, you know what I mean? It's right there, and even though that might not be your family member or somebody that you're close to, it still hits you, especially when you see it multiple times. So I think I was just expressing, it was a combination of a bunch of things, and kind of expressing what I've been feeling for the past how many years,
And they owe you an Oscar nomination.
Oh man, I appreciate it.
How many takes did that take?
I can't remember. We did a few, but we didn't do a lot. because it was very, I mean, I had it as soon as we started shooting, and it all came out.
I mean, I'm always curious with actors who do both with actors who do both screen and stage work. Like, what's the process for you when you're doing something that dramatic? 10 different times within an hour versus doing something dramatic like 8 times a week, and you're just restarting yourself every single day.
I think there's just different ways to go about it. Like me doing this show, the Roxanne, her arc is very, very, it's a crazy arc, and also it gets like very traumatic very quickly. And if you don't know the story, like in the beginning it's all happy and funny, and then like after intermission it's not. It is not. And it's just, I don't really know how to explain it, but it's just like it's something in my mind. It's a way to protect yourself and be able to do something like that 8 times a week, where as in film you can kind of really, really go somewhere and transfer yourself because you're not doing it 8 times a week. And I guess just depending on like what role you play, but you have to protect your voice. You've got to preserve yourself like emotionally. So I think there's a mix of like an autopilot mixed with like still staying in the reality and making it fresh in order to protect yourself for months of somebody dying in your arms 8 times a week.
The National has a huge following. Like there's people who are like, I love the National, and that's how they learn about Cyrano.
Mm-hmm.
Were you a fan of the band before?
I've never listened to them before, and we started this process, and they are the coolest, most like talented people ever. And we I really like noticed it during like the rehearsal process, and then they came in and they just like brought their guitars, and we're like, we were kind of jamming in rehearsal to try to figure out like where the music like sits in our voices and how to like make it a better song, and it really felt more like a jam session than like a rehearsal process. So I thought that was really, really cool of just like their approach, and how they come up with these crazy like melodies and like orchestrate, like, you know, the music is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So I completely fell in love with them.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
When you were little, who were the artists whose posters were like plastered all over your room?
Oh my god. So my first concert was Prince when I was 14.
No way.
I was obsessed. I'm still obsessed with Stevie Wonder. But then I also had like B2K posters on my wall. I loved Mariah Carey. Earth, Wind, and Fire. I was a very like, my mom had the sickest music collection ever. And she had records, CDs, and tapes. And I had a whole sound system set up in our corner. And I would like come home and just listen to all of her music. So I knew like a lot of older music that probably a 9 or 8-year-old like would never know. But I listened to the radio, but I also like was deep in her music collection for like hours.
Wait, tell us about the Prince concert at 14.
It was a musicology tour.
Oh wow.
And my mom was like, you gotta see him. So we went to the Continental Arena in Jersey because he was sold out in New York, and it blew my mind at 14. Like I was at the end of my seat like this, like what, like I always knew who Prince was, but seeing him a performer like that, like live, just like blew my mind. And he did like a 20-minute set that was just acoustic. Like he did like the whole thing. He came out and then just sat with his guitar, his acoustic guitar, and played like classic songs like Little Red Corvette and Raspberry Beret, like just did it on his guitar. And I was like, this man's a genius. So I was hooked. And he's one of my favorite artists of like all time.
In Hamilton and Cyrano, you're originating parts.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, but I have to ask you, if you were to ever do a revival, who are the characters on your bucket list for revivals?
I always thought Mimi was fun from Rent. And then somebody asked me this, what would you want to like do as a musical? And I would love to do like Macbeth. Play like Lady Macbeth and do it as a musical. It's very random.
Like a Prince jukebox musical.
Oh, wait,
Prince jukebox. Yeah.
Oh my God, ask Erica to do it because she did just do an adaptation of Macbeth.
She did, yeah. She
Yeah.
did.
Like the all girls one, but like just do that one and just with songs.
With
Yes.
songs, yeah. I think it would be dope.
I have to like slip in like one Brooklyn question.
Okay.
Yeah, because you were born and raised in Midwood.
Yeah, I was born in London, but I was raised in Midwood. But yeah, I've lived in Brooklyn my whole entire life.
That's so cool. Anyway, I recently moved to Bensonhurst, so we're like neighborhoods. And what are some like Brooklyn recommendations for me and for our viewers and listeners? Like
That's a good
hidden spots and places that you love.
Okay, so some of my favorite restaurants are on 5th Avenue in Park Slope, and that's Bogota, which is a Colombian restaurant. Song, which is one of my favorite Thai restaurants, and Negril, which is a Jamaican spot. So those are 3 restaurants. Some of my favorite restaurants ever in all of New York City are on 5th Avenue in Park Slope.
I have to go there.
Yeah.
And since you brought up food and it's Turkey Month, what's like the one thing you're most grateful for this year?
Oh, honestly, my friends this year have been so supportive and amazing and have just been like the best just to have your tribe and be surrounded and keep yourself grounded with everything that you're going through, the good and the bad. My friends, I'm really grateful for them.
So lovely. Thank you so much, Jasmine, for
Thank
joining
you.
us. We'd like to invite our viewers to come see Cyrano.
Yay! Oh, come see Cyrano. We close December 22nd. Dara Roth Theater. Woo!
And her voice is incredible.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jasmine.
I have read stories where the moment you find it for real, there's no resisting. It's a glow from within, a low violin, everything you've been missing. I'd give anything for someone to say that they can't live without me and they'll be there forever.
It's like, are you proud of us that we interviewed Jasmine and didn't ask her a Hamilton question?
And we never went, and Peggy.
And I have a shirt with her on it, but I did not wear it because I am classy.
Yes, we were very well behaved, but also she's like so good in Cyrano.
Mm-hmm. No, her voice is like so rich that it was so nice to just hear more of it.
Yeah, so I hope there's a cast recording because I want to listen to her songs again, like over and over and over and over again.
Or Jasmine, just record more music generally.
Yes, please.
All right. Thank you all for watching, and remember, we have a podcast, which you can find wherever you find podcasts. Happy holidays. Happy Thanksgiving. Is Thanksgiving problematic? I don't even. Do we still do Thanksgiving?
I mean, they can go back and watch our episode with Larissa Passhorse and Margot Siebert for all the Thanksgiving stuff. So go see that after you have your turkey and pies and stuff like that.
Yeah, and talk about and think about what we all did to the Native Americans.
How many meals are? Well, we weren't here.
Oh yeah, it wasn't us.
Yeah,
it was the rest of
our people.
Not our people. Your people.
Yeah.
Your people.
My people were here.
My people were across the ocean.
Yeah. Anyway, have a bunch of turkey and have a lot of food and
remember to nap before you see a show.
Yes.
Yeah, remember, theater's more fun when you take a friend.
And bring some
Bye.
turkey.
Bye. Don't bring a turkey to the theater.
Bring it.